Welcome again to Sujura's Trusts. Truly welcome. Again, I'm Addie, and I will be your guide through this workshop and the documents as we create them and create clarity around our holdings. You've taken the first step into something I like to call stewardship, which simply really means just becoming more intentional, more organized, and more clear about what we hold and how we hold it, and what role we are playing and how we efficiently, correctly fill that role. And I'm really glad you're here. This workshop is designed to help you create a clear administrative record around digital assets, specifically, again, how cryptocurrency can be documented and organized within a trust or an LLC structure. What we're doing here is stepping out of confusion and creating clarity. That's what we want to do with everything we're doing. If we are unorganized, we feel overwhelmed and confused. The more organized and clear things happen to be, we can see more clearly, with more clarity, and we can make good, solid decisions moving forward. What you will walk away with in this course, by the end of our time together, you'll walk away with a structured packet of information, including the templates. Okay, with the working session, I will put the documents up as we're ready for them, not to confuse anybody, but we will walk methodically, step by step, through each document, okay? We will create the necessary transfer memorandums, assignment and transfer records, cost basis documentation, anything we need for wallet inventory and tracking, and custody and continuity, okay? We'll talk about ledgers. We'll talk about what proper trust and LLC administration actually means, okay? Whether you are in the role of a trustee or the role of a manager. So we will also understand, most importantly, how these pieces all fit together so that your records actually tell a clear story. That is so important for us as we move forward. As we move forward with stewards of our world, okay, and I'm going to use that word because we'll talk about that in the workshop. But as we move forward as stewards, we want our records to be in alignment. We want form and intent to be in alignment, and we want our records to actually tell a clear story that support form and intent. Those are important words, and I'm going to repeat them often because that is what the IRS looks at, form and intent. Okay, very important. That's why proper trust administration, LLC administration, it doesn't matter what entity you are administering, proper administration and minutes is absolutely key. I'd like to talk for a minute about what you can do to prepare for the workshop. If you are able to, please take some screenshots of your current crypto holdings and their prices, okay? I did this by going onto my Uphold app on my phone. I went into the coins that I own, and I took screenshots of that day, that moment price, okay? At the bottom of that screen, it also, I think I had to scroll down a little bit, my phone's small, so however you do it, if you do it on your computer or phone, but scroll down, there, at least on Uphold, it showed what I paid for it. No, I'm sorry. It showed the average of all the coins I had purchased in that specific coin. It showed me the average cost per coin. Okay, we will use those numbers when we are creating the cost basis records. Okay, so if you can do that, those screenshots will be printed and they will actually become part of your complete packet. Any purchase records or exchange history, if you have any of that, you do not need your wallet addresses for the course, but they will definitely be something that you will need to have for you to put into your documents, okay? Acquisition dates, if you know the dates of your crypto, if you're like me, I've bought crypto a ton of times. We don't need all of that detailed information, But again, if you can at least show the average price per coin, and if your app does not do that, your exchange doesn't do that, then yes, try to find the acquisition dates and use those, okay? Some other things to consider. Do you currently have an entity, such as an LLC or a trust, that you intend to use for your administrative organization? What entity would you like to transfer these crypto assets into? I could also say it as, what entity do you have that you would like to register a new cold wallet in? Okay. That is not tied to the social security number, that is actually registered through or with the entity name and the entity EIN number. If you're working with an LLC, you may want to understand how that entity is treated for tax purposes. For example, is it a single member LLC or is it a separate filing entity? If it is a single member LLC, which most of ours probably are, by default, it depends on how you set up the LLC on the Secretary of State, and we can talk about that. There are some caveats there to separating it for tax purposes and making it a separate filing entity. Okay. We also may want to consider whether or not you want to use a separate wallet for. All right, all is well. All right, so you may want to consider whether or not you want to use a separate wallet. Okay, if you want to, then we can talk about that as well. That helps with further cleaner organizational separation. The operating agreement for your LLC. Just creating the LLC on the Secretary of State does not give you a complete and clear operating agreement. It proves that the LLC is in existence, but the operating agreement is a private document that we create that outlines ownership and administrative structure. It is very important as we move into crypto that the entities that are holding that crypto are allowed to hold that crypto. What I mean by that is there language in the LLC operating agreement or the trust declaration or indenture that clearly explains, not only does it allow for the holding of crypto as an asset, but what are the parameters around the crypto that the trustee or the manager need to abide by. These are clauses and sections in the operating agreement or the trust declaration and indenture that are very important for us to be mindful of. Now, crypto is kind of a new thing. So if you have a trust or an LLC structure that was created and organized before crypto even came into your mind as an asset that we needed to document, we can make those changes. So we can create amendments. So that is something that you can do as well that will be very helpful. But these are just things to consider. If you're working with a trust, understanding who the trustee is and how the assets, very similar to an LLC, understanding who the manager is, who the managing manager is, who the managing member is, okay, who actually owns that LLC. If the managing member of, I don't want to misspeak here, if the managing member of the LLC is you, then for tax purposes, it's going to point back to you. So those are things we can talk about, we will talk about that are important. Day 2 of the actual live workshop will be Q&A. So if you don't have these documents or these questions put together for the first working session, we will go over them on the second part 2. So Q&A and actually execution and implementation of these documents. So We'll walk through everything step by step. The goal is not perfection. The goal is clarity, and you do not need to have all this figured out before the workshop. My goal is to help you walk away from the workshop feeling empowered, more clear, more confident, and ready for the changes that are coming in our financial world. So I'm honored to be here with you, and I really truly look forward to working with you.